Are the New York Giants going to trade for DeAndre Hopkins? PFF thinks that they are a top destination for the former All-Pro wide receiver. And is Kevin Byard going to get cut by the Tennessee Titans? That's definitely a rumor out there. And once again, Pro Football Focus linked the Giants to Kevin Byard and said they could be a landing spot for the All-Pro safety. But before we break down the rumors in today's show, make sure you guys share the video. Let's get the word out about New York Giants now by Chat Sports. We continue to grow, and we want more eyeballs on this channel. So click the share button below the video, select the Twitter icon, click post to Twitter, and tag me at @MarshallGreen_, and I'll give you a retweet, I'll give you a follow back, and we'll give you a shout out on an upcoming video. Let's dive into it, though. Pro Football Focus continues to link DeAndre Hopkins to the New York Football Giants. The Cardinals, though, and this is a new development, are allowing NFL teams to speak directly to DeAndre Hopkins to help facilitate a trade. There hasn't been much traction gained on this front because the Cardinals were asking for a second-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins. There was even reports coming out from Albert Breer and Benjamin Albright that said that the Cardinals wanted a second-round pick and then another player of value. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's just not going to happen, and that's why DeAndre Hopkins hasn't been traded yet. Look at all the trades that have gone down this offseason. Brandon Cooks went for a pair of late-round picks. Jalen Ramsey, who is still at the top of his game and under 30, went for a third-round pick. Nobody's given up a second-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins. And honestly, even though PFF lists Hopkins as a top trade partner for the Giants, I don't think a Hopkins trade to New York is all that likely. And there's a couple of reasons for this, and we'll break that down. Number one is you already traded for Darren Waller. You already gave up a third-round pick, a top 100 pick. The Giants aren't really in a spot to give up numerous and multiple premium draft picks. This team still has a lot of holes on this roster, and then for the long-term health of the salary cap, they need to draft some players that can be cost-controlled and can contribute right away. Following the trade for Darren Waller, the Giants now have 10 draft picks coming up in the 2023 NFL Draft, but you only have 3 picks in the top 100, and you really want to have 4 or 5 picks in that range. You traded 1 for Waller. That came from the Kadarius Toney trade. So do you really want to trade pick 89 or pick 57 for DeAndre Hopkins and leave you with just 2 picks potentially in the top 90. I mean, when you look at this wide receiver depth chart, obviously the Giants still need that alpha and number 1 wide receiver that can play on the outside. But I am very, very excited to see what Isaiah Hodgins can do in year 2 with Daniel Jones. Hopefully Sterling Shepard can stay healthy. Wan'Dale Robinson returned to form like he did in the season this past year. His rookie year had 100 yards in the game that he actually tore his ACL. Slayton is a solid receiver. I'm excited for Paris Campbell. I think there's some potential for Colin Johnson. Jamison Crowder is a pro's pro, but you don't have a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, who in 2019 and 2020 had over 100 grabs, over 1,100 yards receiving, and 7 and 6 touchdowns. I mean, in 8 games in 2021, DeAndre Hopkins had 8 touchdowns. In 2022, played in just 9 games because of that 6-game PED suspension, got hurt and missed the last couple of games, but he still has 64 receptions for 717 yards and 3 touchdowns. He is still a dog. He is still a top receiver in the NFL, but I believe his price will have to come down if a true separation is going to happen between the Cardinals and DeAndre Hopkins. I just don't see a world where a team is going to give up a second-round pick for Hopkins, because if there was a team out there that was willing to do it, that trade would have already gone down. So I believe his price will come down. But how much is it going to come down? Will it be a 3rd-round pick? Will it be a 4th-round pick? I don't know. I think a 3rd-round pick is where we could see a trade happen, maybe a 4th. But if it did cost a 3rd, do you think Joe Schoen would pick up the phone and call Arizona? Maybe he's interested, but he knows, like the Giants, they have to build through the draft, and it would be tough giving up another top 100 pick for a veteran wide receiver that, to be honest, is on the tail end of his career. What about you, though? If you were the GM of the Giants, what would you do? Would you trade a 3rd-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins? I want you guys to sound off for me in the comments. Type T for trade, type P for pass. Let me know what you're thinking. And make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, because when the Giants make a move, maybe it's for DeAndre Hopkins, maybe it's for OBJ, or maybe they sign a starting center, we're going to make a video. When the Giants make a move, we make a video, and we're growing like crazy, and we're getting closer and closer to 27,000 subs on the channel. We're doing it for Brandon Jacobs. Hit that sub button, sub for Giants Dubs. Coming up here on the show in a bit, Pro Football Focus has linked Kevin Byard to the New York Giants. We're going to talk about that, and we'll tell you about an awesome deal we have going on with the draft hats coming up for the Giants in the draft right around the corner. But let's just get into the Byard stuff. He was asked reportedly to take a pay cut from the Tennessee Titans. These are all rumors and speculation, and he said no. But as a team and as a general manager, you got to know when you approach a player that has had such a successful career like Kevin Byard, you approach him and say, hey, homie, we need you to take a pay cut. If he says no, the next plan of action has to be you're going to release him, because there's going to be some toxic energy between the player and the front office. Another report came out that after Byard was asked to take a pay cut, he asked for his release. So there's a whole bunch of smoke surrounding the all-pro safety, and that's where the Giants come in. Pro Football Focus has listed the Giants as a top destination for the veteran safety, either in a trade or in the free agency market. We'll break that down some more. I'll give you my thoughts if the Giants should do it, but first, you got to get your hands on these swaggy draft hats. The last couple of years, I thought the NFL did a pretty bad job of making these draft hats, but these are pretty sick, and you got them in 2 different colors and multiple different styles. Get yours today at chatsports.com/NYG draft hat. That's chatsports.com/NYG draft hat. They have the curved bill, they have the flat bill, and they got the fitted and the snapback looks in all these hats. That's chatsports.com/NYG draft hat. That link will be in the comments and description of today's show. Why would the Giants be interested in Kevin Byard? It's because he's arguably one of the best safeties in the National Football League. Look what he's done the last 4 years. But I think the most important thing is he is durable. He has not missed a game in the last 4 years of his NFL career. This past year, still getting it done at a high clip. 108 tackles, 4 interceptions, 6 pass breakups. The year before that, 88 tackles, 5 interceptions, 13 pass breakups. Kevin Byard is an absolute stud, and I believe in a Wink Martindale system, he could continue to be a top safety, and I honestly think he could be one of the best free safety, strong safeties in the NFL. But it comes down to fit and roster construction and money. And when you look at the Giants' depth chart right now at this safety spot, you got to ask yourself, do they really want to commit maximum dollars to another safety? And really, do they need to? Xavier McKinney, we know he's an absolute stud. Jason Pinnock played really well in McKinney's absence after he hurt himself during the bye week. Dane Belton was just a 4th-round pick out of Iowa last year, and in his sophomore season, I'm expecting him to take a jump. And then you just signed Bobby McCain in NFL free agency, who I think will compete with Pinnock to be that starter. So, and you just let Julian Love go in NFL free agency, which tells me I'm not sure the Giants want to pay big money for another safety. Julian Love's a good player. He's not Kevin Byard. We can all agree on that. But if you weren't willing to pay Julian Love $6-7 million, are you going to be willing to pay Kevin Byard $12, $13, $14, $15 million? And on top of that, the Xavier McKinney contract is coming sooner rather than later. He is going to ask to be one of the highest paid safeties in the National Football League, and deservedly so. He's had 2 great years back-to-back. He's a difference maker for this team. He's a captain, and he's going to get paid a lot of money. Does Joe Schoen want to use his limited resources in the salary cap to pay a really expensive free safety and a really expensive strong safety? Listening to Joe Schoen and just the positional value that he values, I don't think they'd want to give a lot of money to Kevin Byard. But what do you think? Do you think the Giants should sign Byard if he's cut? Pro Football Focus, they think they should. Look, I think he's a great player. He'd obviously make us better, but you got to think about the long-term salary cap health of this team. So I got a Dexter Lawrence contract coming and an Andrew Thomas, and they sure aren't going to be cheap. Would you do it? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you think. I appreciate everybody for making New York Giants now a part of their day today. Tuesday afternoon video. Had to get you guys the latest news and rumors. I also just want to say thank you to everybody that's been tuning in and showing love to this channel. We keep growing at a rapid pace because of you guys that always watch these videos and finish them. So this is going to be the real one roll call of today's video. Have you made it this far in the show? comment real one down below. Haven't done that in a while, but I want to show some love to the real ones out there.